Introduce yourself and
All right.
kind of tell us your business and what you do.
So my name is Jeremy Thiel. I live in Austin, Texas, and I own CrossFit Central, and I also own sickfit.com. I started CrossFit Central 5 years ago in Austin, Texas. I started in parks and recreation area, doing outdoor boot camps. I lived off about $1,000 a day doing that. A day. I wish a month. So I was pretty broke when I got started out. So that was, again, October will be 5 years. I had 12 clients that first month. And now at this time of September of 2010, we were right at 700 plus clients. So we've had pretty massive growth in 5 years. And in 2009, I launched a website, sickfit.com, on the Flow Network. And it has been a dream of mine always to work with Flowcast and work with the network, and launching SickFit has been a lesson of learning social media marketing and capturing video and what I believe the future of media will be. That's
awesome. Did you always want to own your own business, or did you just kind of fall into it because you love fitness and then it kind of just built from there?
Yeah, I went into business for myself when I was 16. I started a lawn mowing company with one of my best friends. But it really starts further back than that. When I was about my whole entrepreneurial experience, I would never have worked for anybody. The only person I ever worked for was my father. And he was a farmer in Lubbock, Texas. And so when I was between the ages of 10 to 12, it's a real blurry time for me. I started working on the farm. And on Saturdays, he would take me and my cousin, I was probably 10, he was probably like 13, and drop us off at the farmer's market. And he would drop us off with squash and turnips and radishes and green beans, and we would sit there and sell it to the people that walked around the circle. And my cousin, I'll never forget, my cousin would send us with about 10 boxes of squash, and my cousin would wholesale the squash to other vendors, and that's where we'd make a bulk of our money. He would sell $100 worth of squash, and then I would sell maybe like $30 at retail. And then that was like my first lessons of learning sales, communication, and then seeing my cousin wholesale product. And I drove tractors. Like, I started driving tractors, and I'm a real extrovert, talker, creator, and I realized real quickly that hoeing fields and driving tractors and not talking to anybody all day wasn't for me. And so that was going into my junior year in high school. I started my lawn mowing company. And then after high school, what happened was I got into running strength conditioning summer camps with a couple of guys from that were in college, asked me to work for them. So I started working with them, and after 2 years of working for them, so I guess I worked for them, was another job I had. I took over their company after they graduated from college, started running their summer strength programs, and that was kind of how I got into fitness. But honestly, I think like learning all this business and learning from the farm, the most powerful thing that I would actually recommend all entrepreneurs to do is to get into direct sales or home-based business models that are today. And everyone like, oh, direct sales this, direct sales that. Like, a lot of people have opinions about it. But the fastest way to get involved in business, being a young person, I believe is direct sales. Overhead is very low. You're direct to consumer on sales and follow-ups, customer service, and then building a team and organization. So it actually is the cheapest way to get what I would say is an MBA.
Yeah, it's just like a lesson in.
Yeah,
it's kind of like starting your own business and learning how to manage like different people. And
absolutely.
Right.
And so and direct sales, most direct sales companies, you got to find the right ones, but they teach you about leadership skills. And so the biggest thing that's panned out for me from learning that is leadership skills and how to manage a team, and how to develop that. And so if you want to do it on the cheap and learn and just throw it all out there, and it checks your ego at the door all the time too, because people will tell you you're a pyramid scheme or you're this or that, and it teaches you how to be skilled at communication and how to work through people through things. So even if everyone's like, oh, you're going to be a multimillionaire in this company, I make pretty decent. I still do direct sales. It's a side business for me that pays me equal to a elementary school teacher. And that's all income. And I work that probably now about maybe 10 to 5 hours a month. So it's something I do, but the front end of learning and working that business has taught me an immense amount of knowledge.
That's awesome. What I guess what do you look forward to most about each day? Just owning your own business, and every day can be different. So like, why do you like owning your own business?
I think that owning your own business is just creating something. The possibilities of really creating and seeing if you can, versus where everyone else might tell you can't, or getting people to line up and march in one direction and work together, and see how you can make that happen. And that's kind of it.
Okay. What advice? I guess you said the direct sales thing, but is there anything else that you wish someone had told you when you were thinking about starting your own business? I guess you've kind of had it in your blood your whole life, but some people are just afraid to like kind of jump off and like dive into starting their own business, but they might regret it, down the road. Would you, do you have any advice for someone that's kind of on the edge of, thinking about jumping into starting something on their own?
I think one thing for me was you have to be realistic with yourself about your strengths and your weaknesses, and what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. And really for me, all my success is based around a team. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs or individuals that think they're entrepreneurs that go out there and do it all on their own. And if you don't have a well team built around you, and it could be a team of 2 or 3 people that
Right.
counterbalances your weaknesses, that's what's going to take you to get to the next level. And I see people that want to do it all themselves, and that's a huge limitation. But that's already when you're in. When you're deciding to get in or not, it's never going to be comfortable. But you can always make calculated risk. And the biggest thing I would tell everyone that I feel like has been a major part of my success is cash flow. If there wasn't cash flow that was generated, I wouldn't do it. Especially when I got started out at first. This is getting started, so I'll do a 2-prong, because someone could come back and tell you, oh, that's crazy, because I started CrossFit Central and there was cash flow in everything I did. But then I started SigFit, and SigFit.com doesn't have cash flow. So I did one that was a calculated risk, CrossFit Central, which I could build revenue. Cash came in every month. And then I started SigFit. It didn't have a revenue. And so I have one for the other. So that's my way of taking calculated risk. So I did both, but I did one before the other. And the next thing I would say is, if you have a full-time job, work the full-time job and work your part-time job that's your business, or work your part-time business like it's your full-time job. So if you do both like it's your full-time job, once your part-time business doubles your income from your job, then quit. I wouldn't recommend anybody quitting their job before they double their income with their other job, because if you only match your income and then you jump ship and hope that it'll get to that next level, it's a more of a risk, because you might live in the same financial, but eventually it could become more of a negative than a positive, because no one's really, I don't know, there's a difference between an entrepreneur and getting paid the same.
Running your own business.
Running your own business.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I guess you're saying like, wait until you can kind of match the income and know that you have something good going, or double it, and then it allows you to kind of, I guess some people get stuck when they still have a job. They kind of have something to fall back on, and then when they go it alone, I guess on their other business, they might still not be as motivated, I guess, to push it to the next level.
Well, they might first off not have the financial vehicle that can get them to where they might want to be financially, and this is all opinions about me with not knowing anyone's goals.
Right.
So I really can't assess this type of information without knowing people's goals. So I'm speaking to imaginary situations.
Right.
But saying that, that's kind of my experience with it.
Right.
What I would recommend.
Okay.